Warner Bros. Delves into the realm of hobbits, elves, and dwarves in the latest video game adaptation of The Lord of the Rings. Aragorn's Quest is an adventure that allows you to step into the role of Strider in a playful retelling of the classic story. Though it borrows from several established templates to form a solid structure, poor controls, ugly visuals, and boring combat thwart this fellowship. Aragorn's Quest takes many liberties with the Lord of the Rings story. Set roughly 15 years after the One Ring was destroyed, Samwise Gamgee awaits Aragorn's return to the Shire for a celebration. To pass the time, he recounts his adventures with King Elessar to his children. The plot touches on several major battles and events, and many of the story's most memorable moments have been altered in Samwise's telling. The point was probably to make for a more exciting video game, but the end result feels hollow. You'll get no enjoyment revisiting Tolkien's world here.
Right. Where are we going?
The story of Aragorn's adventures to save Middle-earth spans 8 chapters. Players take on the role of Aragorn, though you'll play as Sam's son Frodo during the segments between each chapter. There's support for 2-player co-op in each level, allowing for 1 player to drop in or out at any time as Gandalf. Levels contain several key objectives that must be fulfilled in order to progress, with optional side quests to encourage exploration. Tasks are diverse. The game feels like a hybrid of World of Warcraft meets Zelda at times. Many levels are expansive and serve as open-world environments, while others are more linear. Aragorn earns new skills and gear as you complete story-related objectives or discover hidden tokens within each level. Many skills are passive, increasing attributes like your item capacity or offensive and defensive capabilities, but a few grant new moves that you execute by charging your strength gauge. You can also purchase upgrades to existing abilities at any time via the menu with in-game currency. It's nothing too complex, but it's just enough to give you a sense of accomplishment as you march closer to the Black Gates of Mordor. Aragorn's Quest will run you about 10 hours to complete, though there's plenty of replay value if you hope to unearth every secret and collect every last item. Provided, of course, you can muster the will to battle with the faulty controls. Sauron's forces aren't the only threat to the Fellowship. Control issues hamper your efforts at every turn. You're forced to use the Wii Remote and Nunchuck to conduct combat via gesture-based movements. The flaw is how imprecise the game is at picking up your actions. The end result has you haplessly waggling away to fight, with only the occasional enemy or boss requiring some actual strategy. It's not just the basic combat that's an issue. Fighting on horseback and using secondary weapons are implemented in just as poor a fashion. The bottom line is that combat is not fun, and enemies are typically a cakewalk. Even just getting around is a pain, as there's no real camera control, and in vast open environments such as these, you'll sorely miss it. The general lack of polish rears its head in numerous ways. It's way too easy to get caught up in the geometry, for instance, and nearby enemies routinely interrupt your conversations with NPCs.
Greetings!
The end result is a game that feels unrefined as a whole. You can certainly power through it if you're determined enough, but it drags the experience down nonetheless. Given the richness of the source material, Aragorn's Quest sure does look drab. The character models are bland and sometimes deformed, the textures wouldn't have been acceptable even by last generation standards, and the game's general performance is problematic. The soundtrack is a mix of new and old that fits right in, but the voice work is prone to bad pacing and awkward pauses.
It is a gift to the foes of Mordor.
You cannot wield it. None of us can.
Aragorn's Quest gets the framework right, but its flaws are numerous enough to nearly compromise it as a whole. This time there can be no hope against the armies of Mordor. It's best to find another path. There are plenty of other action-adventure games more worthy of your time and money.